Michael here, and then we'll go on the front row in the corner.
Only scored 6 there in the fourth. Just what happened from an execution standpoint to allow Kentucky to get back into it late there?
I mean, missed some shots. I thought we got in a scramble situation after those missed shots in transition. And then Strack did a great job. I mean, they really got her the ball in her spots, and she delivered.
Up here on the front left.
Kind of building off of that, this was a season low 60 points for you guys tonight. What did you see that Kentucky gave you trouble on the defensive end, or was it just more offensive missing shots?
I mean, I don't think it was any different than what we've seen. A little bit of zone they mixed in. I just thought we didn't hit shots. I mean, we got some great looks. You know, Tessa doesn't shoot the way she shot always. And I thought she had some pretty open looks. I thought she took some that was kind of quick, but we could take that from Tessa. So we bit the bullet and took some quick shots, and they made us pay for it.
On the right here in the second row, and then the front row.
Don, what makes Strack so hard to defend, and even when everybody's trying to double team her on? Why is she still able to deliver?
She's big. She's long. I mean, she's got a high arcing shot. It's hard to get to. She's very mobile. She can put it on the floor. She can just score on all 3 levels, and she just keeps her defense off balance. So, I mean, once she got her shot going, it allowed her to put the ball on the floor and get to the basket and score.
Here on the front row.
Coach, this is the second year in a row now that this has been a pretty tight game near the end. What is it about Kenny Burke's system that makes for such a competitive matchup between the two?
I mean, great crowd, great momentum. I thought we got out to some leads and they came fighting back. And it's just great talent on the floor that make plays. And we are, you know, we're fortunate to get the win, but we also did enough to get the win. Like, we also executed. We also were able to get some stops when we needed to get stops, and it was a hard-fought game. It was an SEC conference game, which is very normal.
Second row on the far left.
Coach, the crowd was pretty into it for senior day, and you guys, like was mentioned earlier, only had 6 points in the fourth quarter. What does that tell you about your team going forward into March, about kind of the resiliency they have?
Yeah, I mean, we could play a lot of different ways. However, I think this league has allowed us to win a lot of different ways. I mean, you do have to coach them up. You do have to have players that can make plays. And then I think just defensively. I mean, we only scored 60 points, but to only allow someone 56, that's really saying something as well. So, you know, we can win scoring 80 points. We can win scoring 60 points. I think it's just a confidence builder for us just to have some success in our league.
Michael, and then Chris.
I know you expected Medina and Strack to play a big role in this game in the paint. Just how do you feel like Medina was able to kind of hold her own and make an impact on the game?
I mean, Big Mama did her thing. Big Mama, 21 points, 13 rebounds, and I told her if she's got stamina to play 4 or 5 more minutes, she might be able to add to her stat line. But she's playing extremely well and composed, and I thought she did a great job for us, just anchoring on both sides of the basketball.
Chris.
You mentioned that the Wolves were a product of missing shots. Was it just missing shots, or maybe did the focus wander a little bit, being the last game of the season?
No. I mean, I thought both teams got a little bit tired. I think when you exert as much energy as both of us did on both sides of the ball trying to get a win, like it takes, you know, the gutting up. And sometimes the gutting up makes your shot a little short. Okay, sometimes it makes you step a little bit slow. And I thought at times when the game was ebbing and flowing, you know, both for us and against us, it played a part. I think we built our league because they got a little bit of fatigue. They came back off of a little bit of our fatigue, and it was just that kind of battle.
Here on the front row.
Dawn, congratulations, you win the conference again. Your program is such that you can go into opponent's arena, and you mentioned the crowd, great atmosphere. Is that a blessing or a curse to have to face that on the road all the time?
That's a blessing. It's all a blessing when as many people come and support women's basketball in this form, whether they're for or against us. it's always a great thing. 10 years ago, it wasn't like that. Now, we're seeing that more and more people having sellouts, and rightfully so. Our game is really in high demand, and as you can see, the people came in, and the people were loud, and the people, almost pushed them over the finish line, and that's what you want.
We'll stay on this right side here, and then
Hey,
here.
Coach, you talked about Strack, but Kentucky has some pretty good three-point shooting. What was the game plan going inside out on defense for you guys?
We just wanted it inside. Anytime that we got in a scramble mode situation, they made us pay. And we can afford ourselves those threes if in half court we're not allowing them to get clean looks. And we really wanted Shrek to be the one that play makes, cause her efficiency is inside three. You could 2 us rather than 3 us, and we just tried to do that. And if they were able to play both inside out, outside of 3, we probably don't win this basketball game, because I think they average about 8. So we cut it down to 5, and that creates just a small advantage for us to win.
Thanks,
Go ahead.
Coach.
Kentucky entered this game kind of, on the edge of hosting or not hosting after playing them after that 40-minute battle. In your eyes, should they host?
Yeah, I think, I know there was a reveal before the game, and I see there's a lot of, other conferences that are in there. It's nothing against any other conference, but what we have been through in this conference, it's hard. It's hard to measure. It's hard to measure, where we stack up in that top 16. But I do think we could have a little bit more. I think Kentucky's done a great job at their resume. And if you take some of what has happened in our league and what our league is doing, it's hard to measure. And I hope they take a different metric to gauge us, because it's hard. It's really hard. And I don't, the committee members do a great job, but I think this is unprecedented. There's no other year has been like this year in the SEC, so we can't use the same metrics that we use for the top 16.
The front row on the left, and then Chris will get the last one.
Donna, Tony Morgan, she matched her season low, which I know says a lot today, for assists before. How big of an emphasis was that, just limiting her effectiveness distributing the ball?
She's the head of the snake, and we really wanted to make it hard for her. I thought she missed some easy chippies at the basket that she really does not miss, and we were very fortunate that happened. But if she makes those baskets, we're probably in here talking a little bit differently. But it's important that we disrupt the flow of what they were trying to do, and we know she probably won't play that way again.
Chris, wrap us up.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had an update on Tiff and Kiki and Destiny.
Yeah, no updates. Still, everything's the same, but we are getting some help from some people who are in decision-making positions, but there's nothing you can do. You can still hear, things that are going off, the sirens and everything that goes on in a war zone.
Have you talked to him this morning or today?
Yes.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.